Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to our English news edition of 9 p.m. Here are the headlines. Djibouti's candidate for the presidency of the African Union Commissions holds a press conference in Addis Ababa. In Gaza, 58 Palestinians were killed in Israeli strikes. The details in this edition. Welcome to our newsroom, ladies and gentlemen. As I mentioned on the title, the Minister of Foreign Affairs and International Cooperation, Mr. Mahmoud Ali Yusuf, who is also a candidate for the presidency of the African Union, held a press conference on Wednesday at the Djibouti Embassy in Addis Ababa. The event took place on the eve of the much anticipated Mujadala Africa debate, which will pit the various candidates against each other. At the press conference, Mahmoud Ali Yusuf fielded questions from a dozen journalists from the regional and international print and broadcast media, giving the candidate the opportunity to detail his vision and priorities for guiding the African continent should he be elected. Among the media present, RTD made its presence felt with a dynamic and talented team determined to cover every aspect of this electoral campaign. With his experience and clear vision, Mahmoud Ali Yusuf was able to respond in a precise, thoughtful, and inspiring manner, stressing the importance of building a united, resilient, and forward-looking Africa, while emphasizing cooperation between member states. As the Mujadala Africa debate looms on the horizon, Mahmoud Ali Yusuf emerged as a serious candidate ready to meet the challenges, his candidacy carrying the hopes of a stronger Africa, better connected to the world. During the conference, journalists put questions to the foreign minister, notably about his plans to fight corruption in Africa and promote transparent management of public resources. Our colleague Dini asked, what concrete measures do you propose to ensure that African government and leaders are accountable for the use of the continent's resources? Here is his answers.
If once elected, how do you intend to combat corruption in Africa and promote transparent management of public resources?
Corruption is a terrible phenomenon that keep us back from progress and development. The continent has a strategy to fight corruption, and that strategy has to be implemented. One of them is how we can abolish what we call the bank secrecy. Banks have their own rules and regulations to keep secret, funds that are keeping for individuals, corporates, etc., etc. We need to fight, fiscal, what they call the fiscal paradise and bank secrecy. That one is, key to fight corruption. Then there is a global forum on the recovery of assets. There is a global forum called Global Forum for Recovery of Assets. So if we manage to create that understanding with banks, not only African banks, generally speaking, stolen assets are not in Africa, they're elsewhere. So those assets should be recovered. And we had also good successful experiences of recovered assets.
What concrete measures do you propose to make African governments and leaders accountable for the continent's resources?
Our advocacy and our role is to make sure that when decisions are made by the principals, by the heads of states themselves and the policy organs, we, the Commission, will have to work for the implementation of those decisions. If the hindrance comes from the countries themselves, we will tell them. We are not able to implement this decision because the member country is not very cooperative. But otherwise, it is essential that we rely as a Commission on regional economic communities. And I will certainly make sure that they will be also part of my priorities if I am elected.
In Djibouti now, the Minister of Social Affairs and Solidarity, Madame Olouf Ismail Abdou, officially launched the Mobilizing Communities for Better Nutrition project. This major ceremony was attended by Japanese delegation, the World Bank representative, the UNFD program manager, and the president of the Commune. This project, financed by the Japanese government through the World Bank, is part of a dynamic and concrete action aimed at strengthening local capacities and actively engaging communities in their own development. With 6,000 targeted beneficiaries, it places nutrition at the heart of priorities, providing sustainable national solution. This project is fully in line with the vision of the head of state, who has made the well-being and health of every citizen a national priority. The Ministry of Social Affairs and Solidarity, through its Djibouti Social Development Agency, is implementing a strategy targeting the first 1,000 days of a child's life. The Minister Olufa Ismail Abdo expressed that this launch marks a decisive step in the fight against poverty and malnutrition. It shows the importance of strategic partnership in achieving the objectives of the social protection policy of the President of the Republic, His Excellency Mr. Ismail Omar Guelleh. The Minister of Labor, now in charge of formalization and social protection, His Excellency Mr. Omar Abdi Said, welcomed to his office a delegation from the Japan-Djibouti Friendship Association, led by the President, Mr. Yano Tetsuru Sensei. The delegation was accompanied by His Excellency Mr. Ibrahim Bile Douali, Ambassador of Djibouti to Japan, and His Excellency Mr. Keiichi Hara, Ambassador of Japan to Djibouti. The courtesy visit was part of a series of meetings between the association and the government. The meeting was attended by senior officials including Mr. Abdullah Ali Mohammed, General Secretary of the Ministry, Mr. Khadir Omar Khalili, Communication Advisor, and Mr. Mohammed Omar Guelleh, Director General of ANEFIP. Discussion focused on the key issues as promoting employment and skills development. The Minister of the Environment and Sustainable Development, in collaboration with the United Nations Development Programme, UNDP, organized yesterday at the Sheraton Hotel the closing of the training workshop on the implementation of the Enhanced Transparency Framework. The closing ceremony was presided by the SG of the Ministry of the Environment, Dini Abdullah. The certificate of completion was presented to the 40 technical members of the National Steering Committee on the Climate Change. The workshop is led by the coordinator of the Francophone Climate Transparency Cluster, the regional coordinator of CBIT project for the MENA region, and the deputy director of the Ministry of Environment's Fights Against Climate Change, Mr. Mohamed Gona. In his speech, the Secretary General of the Ministry of the Environment, Dini Abdullah, said in word that this workshop was very important for building the capacity of national experts in implementing the enhanced transparency framework of the Paris Agreement. The Secretary General of the Ministry of the Digital Economy and Innovation, Mr. Abdullahi Ibrahim Omar, presided over a workshop this morning at the Grand Hotel Ayla on the development of the National Digital Competency Reference. The purpose of the workshop was to present the work carried out to develop the National Digital Competence Reference to the private sector. The workshop was attended by executives from the Ministry of Economy, Technology and Innovation, and from the private sector, the Secretary General of the Ministry of Innovation and Technology, Mr. Abdullahi Ibrahim Omar, delivered a speech in which he explained the importance of the digital age. The Djibouti's civil aviation authorities yesterday brought to a close a series of 4 training workshops focusing on civil aviation security, organized as part of the fight against acts of unlawful interference in air transport, conducted by 2 experts from the International Civil Aviation Organization over a 2-week period. The training sessions were held at the CAA's premises and brought together key players in the aviation sector. The main aim of these training courses was to strengthen national capacities and improving security and prevention mechanism in the field of civil aviation. Djibouti International Airport has also recently acquired the latest generation of security equipment. These modern tools will enhance the operational capabilities of the air transport policy to effectively carry out their control and prevention mission. With this initiative, Djibouti is reaffirming its commitment to guaranteeing aviation security standards in line with the international requirements. At the closing ceremony, the General Manager, Mr. Daoud Ali Abdou, praised the involvement of the participant and expressed his deep gratitude to the ICAO expert for their valuable contribution in this strategic area. Very early in the morning of Tuesday, 10th December 2024, the BCMR delegation led by Mr. Frédéric Samou, BCMR Commercial Director, had a meeting with the prefect of the region of Ali Sabih, Mr. Abdul Malik Mohamed Bonoita, and the president of the regional council, Mr. Shamark Hassan Alale. The bank's manager gave a progress report to the regional authorities since the last meeting in Ali Sabih. The delegation then met at the headquarters of the regional council, which gave BCMR teams the opportunity to talk directly to customers in Al Sabih, taking advantage of the occasion to present the product and financial opportunities offered by the bank. Local traders also expressed their needs during this discussion. BCMR officials expressed their sincere thanks to the prefect of Al Sabih, Mr. Abdul Malik Mohamed Banoita, the president of the regional council, Mr. Shamark Hassan Alale, and all the participants for their cooperation and warm welcome. As part of the Amnesty Month in the fight against the proliferation of illicit small arms and light weapons, a delegation from the Djibouti National Police visited the north of the country in Tajura region. The police delegation was first received by the prefect of Obuch region, who welcomed them. In this, together, the two parties discussed the importance of Amnesty Month and the fight against the proliferation of illicit small arms and light weapons. This event highlights the fact that the fight against weapons is more than just a one-off action. It represents a genuine social and political pact for a better future. The workshop brought together the police, the gendarmerie, the army, the maritime force, and the Coast Guard, with the aim of raising awareness among these key players of the danger and of the proliferation of small arms and light weapons. Discussion also addressed the need to strengthen existing legislative and operational mechanisms and to actively involve local communities in the fight against this scourge. This workshop is part of a global effort to prevent the proliferation of small arms and light weapons and to promote awareness-raising action for a safer future. Still in Tajura, as part of the Amnesty Month and the fight against the proliferation of illicit small arms and light weapons, the Djibouti National Police organized an event in the Tajura region, sending a determined and solemn message of peace to all African countries. This event is part of the African Union's continental initiative to achieve an ambitious goal to silence arms by 2030 and build a secure future for generations to come. The march brought together a wide range of participants, including the National Police, the Security Force, and representatives of civil society. The march started in front of the port of Tajura, and the procession made its way to the prefecture of the Tajura. The aim of the march was to raise public awareness in Tajura and encourage a collective understanding of the importance of building a peaceful and secure Africa. And for the international news now, the first bombardment on Thursday came just hours after the UN General Assembly in New York called for an immediate and conditional ceasefire in the Gaza Strip, a symbolic call rejected by Israel and United States but deemed crucial by the UN. The truck at the early Thursday morning, 7 security guards were killed in a strike in Rafah and 5 others in a strike in Khan Yunis, 2 towns in the south of the territory, said Gaza Civil Defense spokesman. The trucks carrying flour were on their way to a UNRWA warehouse. The witness later claimed that several local residents had looted the flour from the convoy after the strike. This is it for this 9 p.m. English News Edition. Thanks for watching us. Stay tuned for more on IOTD.